All right, we are live. Thank you to everybody who's hopping on. Really appreciate you coming to watch us, coming to watch me more specifically. I'm Jacob Campbell. I am the owner, operator of Atoric Design, and I've been working with businesses on their design and their strategy for over a decade now. And it's been really rewarding most times. It's what I like to do. It gives me an amazing creative outlet that I just wouldn't have any other way. And it's been just super important to me to do this work. And it's been a big learning process. We pivoted really hard a couple years ago and it worked out great. Being able to reach out to our audience this way now is super important, and it's something I've wanted to do on the page for a long time. We've been doing it consistently through our group, which you can check out on the page called Tactical. It's been less active as of late, and I think now's a good time to start talking to people again, because I think people want to talk. I think people need help getting their business together in this really stressful time. Small businesses are really struggling at the moment. And many of them, especially ones that relied on foot traffic, okay, especially ones that were dependent on people coming in to buy a product that was non-essential, okay, as classified by the government, they find themselves in a really tough space right now. And a lot of people are just completely unable to sell the products and services that they were previously selling. In Pennsylvania, the governor has announced currently a 2-week shutdown of non-essential businesses. And I cannot imagine how many people are stressing out right now that don't have the backing to withstand this kind of economic downturn for them, this kind of revenue destruction, right? And I'm working with people currently who aren't able to sell products or services like they used to. And we've been talking and we're coming to some really great conclusions here. And I want to share those conclusions with everybody who likes this page. I'm sorry, bumping the microphone. Everybody who is working hard to build their business, make something with their name, under their name, and supply people. Firstly, I think the most important thing that we can be doing right now is helping one another. So I want you to keep in mind, if you are wondering, what can I do to help? That your mind's in the right place. If you are considering others before yourself and your own business, I think your mind's in a wonderful place, and I think you're going to survive this really well, no matter what happens, right? And there's going to be a lot of things happening. There's going to be a lot of governmental work being done, hopefully to preserve small businesses. We're seeing them do it for major businesses. We're seeing them do it for the airlines. And I'm really hoping we're going to start seeing sweeping reform to help the smaller businesses as well, because that's what makes the American economy great. Are the small businesses that are personal. That's what most people think about when they think about American business. They're thinking about the small business and the small, five and dime store that turns into Walmart. However you feel about that. So I don't want to dwell on and wax poetic about the situation, because it's nothing too poetic about it. It simply is what it is, and we need to deal with it. So hopefully, if you're watching this, what you want to do is reach your audience remotely, okay? And some of you have never done that before. Some of you have never even considered reaching your audience remotely. Some of you may not be so sure that you can provide a good or service to somebody remotely. You may think that you're working personally with people. Maybe you do tattoos. Maybe you cut hair. Okay, how are you going to perform these services under these, government shutdowns? And the reality of it might be that you can't. You can't keep getting revenue doing the same thing that you were doing before. That does not mean that you are done. That does not mean that your business is over. Okay? So let me tell you something about society and what happens to societies when mass hardship, comes to them. Entertainment always performs during these hard times. And that may seem counterproductive because how are people, they're shutting down events. I had tickets to Green Day. Everything's canceled now. I can't go. You're right. You won't be able to supply entertainment in a personal manner. You won't be able to have events, mass congregations of people. And a lot of businesses really thrive on mass congregations of people. I know that another client of mine has several trade shows that they attend every year, and that makes up a very considerable portion of their yearly income. We are very hopeful that things will change before that point, but it would be irresponsible not to consider the fact that these mass events may not be happening not just 1 month, not just 2 weeks, not just a month, not just a quarter, could go on longer, okay? So if you're cutting hair, if you're doing tattoos, if you're selling to people face to face, the only thing that you can do now is adapt. And what I said, entertainment is going to thrive right now. And I made perhaps a poor taste joke, but I said, we were living in a viral world, right? Viral videos. But now we really live in a viral world. There's a literal virus haunting people's thoughts and impacting their lives dramatically. But we still do live in that viral world. We still do live in that world where content is produced and shared in mass, and millions and hundreds of millions of people are able to tune in, all get 15 seconds of elation out of a video and some relief, right? And that's really powerful. So basically what I'm saying here is, if you perform a service for somebody and you do it one-on-one, say tattooing, say cutting hair, now is the time to reach out and build your audience, okay? Now is the time to invest into people and entertaining them, delighting them, okay? Whatever that means. Now, you're saying, well, how am I going to do that? I can't even, let's keep going back to the tattoo, the salon. If you're doing the tattoos, you can't actually be inking people right now. You can't be, pigmenting people right now. And if you're cutting hair, people aren't able to come into the salon. So how am I going to reach out and show people what I do? You need to take people through your process. And that's ultimately what content marketing has been about the entire time. Yes, like I said, you need to entertain people. You need to delight people with your work. But at the same time, as you're entertaining them, you need to be taking them into the process that you perform. Tattooing, cutting hair, even though the ultimate service and end product is an extremely personal one, there are several steps leading up to this point which can be shown and displayed without actually having a human being there. It's time to dissect your process and show people what you're doing. And content marketing, like I said, has always been about this. The content is meant to inform the customer. Delight, and inform. These are two incredibly important aspects of what I'm teaching people when it comes to content marketing. And if you would like to learn more outside of this context about just the general principles of content marketing, I have an ebook. It's free. All you have to do is sign up with your email on my website, atoricdesign.com/ebooks, and you can find Content Marketing Concepts, which is a book, a short ebook that takes you through not the nitty gritty, okay, but these are the greater, broader strokes of why people are doing content, because so many people get caught up in the minutia of creating content and distributing content, the actual doing part of it, that they neglect why they are doing it in the first place. And these concepts can really help you out. Content Marketing Concepts, atoricdesign.com/ebooks. It is easily found through the Facebook page. So reaching out right now is so important. And here we're using, I'm using a 4K Lumix camera. The lighting isn't great, trust me, but you don't even need a special camera. You've got your phone. You can pull out your phone and take a live video and show your process. And I'll tell you what, the investments to make a phone video or live stream better right now, we are talking about, we're not talking about spending the whole $1,000 check, right? If you're in America and we're talking about getting this $1,000 check, it's going to be a fraction of that check to invest into entertainment materials. And I tell you what, a lot of businesses may not be thinking about investing in their entertainment, investing in their remote services. So you might even see prices for these things. If the demand goes down and people aren't looking towards making this live content, you may see prices on some of this equipment go down. Little tripods for phones, which are already abysmally priced, they're priced into oblivion. They're so cheap. You can get all of this stuff for practically nothing and start reaching out. If you're a salon, okay, when you were learning to cut hair, you used a mannequin, used a wig. It may be worth your time to break those back out and show people how you do what you do. It's so important to not just delight these people, but to inform them. And once they have that information, they're going to feel more comfortable working with you. Now, this pandemic could go on, latest they're saying is 18 months, okay? It's a pretty draconian future we'd be looking at if we weren't able to have physical contact for a full 18 months. I think even then they're saying, these things may go in waves. So there will be a time again when humans are going to be able to contact each other. And if you put in the work to build an audience online to entertain a group of people, which will in turn build a community around your work, when the floodgates are opened, you will receive a deluge of support once again, the second it comes back, because people aren't just going to be delighted and informed. They're going to be grateful to you, okay? You went out of your way to delight them in a time of hardship. If we look at the Great Depression, okay, Monopoly became incredibly popular. We're talking about a board game. And this was the perfect time. This was the perfect time for entertainment just like that, in-home entertainment. People, like I said, they couldn't go out. They couldn't go out to a jazz club and catch a show. They could not afford it. But when Monopoly was able to come into their homes and entertain them and a whole family for a whole night, doesn't matter how much they argued and yelled about it afterwards, it took their mind off of the chaos outside. And Monopoly was actually kind of a poignantly crafted thing to kind of show off the failings of the economic system that we were in. And so people resonated with that. People resonated with that incredibly. And if you're able to bring entertainment into somebody's home, and you're able to take their mind off something, and you're able to connect with them and build a relationship with them, which live streaming gives you a completely open door to do that. Somebody's coming into your chat. If you do something interesting enough to make them talk and catch them, you have a one-on-one experience with them. I've done it myself. I've seen my clients do it constantly. It is so important to start building relationships that are more than just business, more than just the service you do. I know it's really, for a lot of people, it makes it really simple for them to be able to just disconnect from all the personal BS and focus on the craft. It makes complete sense why you would want to do that. But unfortunately, emphasis on craft is not enough, will not ever be enough when it comes to properly servicing clients. The unfortunate reality for people who maybe are a little more antisocial is that business has always been about giving people what they need. And it's more importantly, it's about people. It's about the people you serve and making their lives better. If you can expand the ways that you make somebody's life better on a daily basis, do you not think that they will be more inclined to come to you for the actual service if they can? This isn't an if, though. This is a when. It's going to happen. You're going to start seeing businesses, they're all reaching out, they're all sending out emails about how they're responding to the virus, and they're making sure that people know that they are taking the situation seriously. That's important. That's an important first step, especially if you are still doing business and you've got employees that are handling things in an essential business. But you're going to start seeing more. You're going to start seeing people get online, just like I'm doing, just like I don't think I've ever done on this page before, and talking directly to an audience. Whether or not they want to talk back, that's fine. But I have a message today. I think it's an important one. And how you reach your audience now is simply by delighting them and informing them, showing them the process, showing them the things that happen outside of the direct contact. If you're a tattoo artist, show yourself drawing. If you work on a salon, show yourself, show some techniques on maybe a dummy. There are ways, it's going to take creativity, okay? Now, not everybody feels creative, and that's fair. I believe everybody has a capacity for creativity. I unfortunately fear that a lot of us lose that capacity ultimately as we go through life. I preserved it specifically so that I can help others find their creativity once again. I help my clients tap back into the creative aspect of their lives and reaffirm that it was an important aspect of their lives and it was not to be neglected in the first place. And a lot of our work turns into just rehabilitating a client's ability to be creative. Not everyone, not at all. Some people, they need a lot more logical support, and I try to manage all that. But you may not be sure how you're going to deliver your message creatively in a way that delights and informs. That makes perfect sense. The unfortunate thing is that creativity, I can give some kind of base things you can do to make yourself more creative. Ensuring that you've got enough sleep is huge. Ensuring that you've gotten the right food in your system is really important. Ensuring that you are researching and seeing what other people are doing creatively, especially if it's in your space. If you can find an example of somebody else that's already developing a community, do not copy. Do not copy. Good artists copy, great artists steal, okay? You want to take these ideas and make them your own. And you're not going to do that by copying what they do. You're going to do that by looking at what they do, reverse engineering it, and applying it to your own situation, your own audience. So it's super important to be creative and make your content for your audience. A lot of people don't know how to do that. I have a pretty solid process now of how I've been able to do that for all of my clients. It takes auditing your brand, auditing who you are, taking a look in the mirror, taking a look at who your customers are, then seeing exactly what they need, what their stories are, and how the story that's led to them needing you in their lives, and then solving all their problems, knowing what all their problems are going to be before they even get to you. And when you look at what exactly your clients need from you, content comes out of that. Content comes right out of that. So if you're a tattoo artist, you need custom art, show yourself researching the tattoo, looking at what other people have done, show yourself sketching, okay? Take people through your thought process. And if you're in a less creative field, you know what? If you're watching this and you're in a less creative business than maybe a tattoo artist or even somebody at a salon, feel free to leave a comment below. Ask me what is creative about my business? What do people want to see about my business? How can I delight them and inform them on my boring business? And I'd love to get really creative with it. And doing that audit work, though, is the most important thing. That's why I was saying why it's unfortunate is that I can't help everyone to the level they may need help with just in a live chat, just in this experience that we're having. That takes hours and hours sitting down with clients and talking about who they are, who their customers are, and what they need to do to reach those customers. That's the worst part of it, is that I can't help everyone individually. But what I can tell you right now, show your process, inform them, delight them, bring yourself, bring who you are to the table. And if you entertain them in these times when people are secluded, when people are quite literally cut off from the rest of the world, and you come into their house and bring them joy through what you provide, they're going to remember that the next time they need what you've got, right? So that's pretty much it. That's all I wanted to say here. How you reach that remote audience, open up your doors with these live streams. Hop on your phone, share your process, tell people about it, be you, and make sure that they're having a good time. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'm hoping to do this again in the near future. Please leave any questions or comments below, and I will definitely be reading and responding to everybody. Thank you so much, and be safe out there. Keep it clean, kids, okay? Wash your hands.